like to tell you about the most embarrassing, uncomfortable, humiliating night of my life. Now, this is not the night my girlfriend dumped me at the movies because I made her stay through the closing credits when she wanted to use the bathroom. And this is not the night a subway clerk punched me in the face because I was mouthing off to him about my unswipeable Metro card. And this is not the afternoon a computer repairman of Orthodox Jewish persuasion turned away from my PC to say, "Wow, you surf a lot of porn. It's all still there in your cache. You know that, right?" No, I didn't. Thanks so much. And this is not the day in college acting class when I told a funny story about a retarded kid to my scene partner, who just so happened to have a brother with Down syndrome. And this is not the time I asked a pregnant woman, "Ooh, when is the baby due?" And she was just fat. I share these moments of joy with you, well, because when bad things happen to good people, we feel great because it isn't us. Of course, it will be us at some point. We all have moments in our lives that we wouldn't wish on the Kardashians. But the winner of the Schadenfreude sweepstakes, if you want to hear about the night God punished me for stealing chestnuts from the supermarket when I was a kid, for treating women who slept with me the way women who wouldn't sleep with me treated me, for telling telemarketers, who I know are just doing their jobs, for telling them how I would decapitate their children and sodomize the heads. If you want to hear about the night karma enfolded me in its capacious bosom and nursed me on the curdled milk of revenge, you come to the right show. I was in my late 20s and doing what I did almost every evening of my life back then. No, not that. I was going to the theater, work in the daytime if I was lucky enough to have a day job, and then plunk myself in a seat, wait for the lights to dim and the crowd to hush, and watch strangers doing everything in their power to make me grateful to be there. On Broadway, off-Broadway, off-Broadway, all charismatic and beautiful people who wouldn't glance my way on the street. They're on stage, hoping to please and move me. Not a bad gig. Which is why I have been a theater critic for more than 25 years, reveling in the most profound awakenings of the human spirit. Laughing so loud, I would have to remind myself to breathe for fear of passing out. Leaping to my feet at the end of a musical, not because everyone drags themselves to a standing ovation nowadays. "Oh, we paid $300 for this. We must have loved it." No. Actual, impulsive standing ovations, where an electric shock hits your feet even before your brain can say stand. Or sadness. I was at the Normal Heart, off-Broadway, sobbing at the wedding scene, to the point where my wife tried to shush me, until we looked around and saw the entire world wailing even harder than I was. Well, you get a play like that once every 600 shows. No, really, I've done the math. If you are a practicing theater critic in a major city, you might see 200 shows a year. Every couple of years, you get one. The one. Number 600. And that keeps you going until the next one. This, not the one. Sorry. This is just a silly little monologue about the most miserable night of my life. Rise if you wish at the end. I will not stop you, but don't expect death of a salesman This is mortification of a critic. A critic who was seeing play after play after play, because you can't twiddle your thumbs waiting for number 600. You have to wade through the other 599. Some are good. Most are partly good. And some are so bad that if Hitler were in the audience and begging to leave at intermission, you would let him. You would say, Adolf, bro, what you did to the Jews was very, very bad. But this, go, save yourself! So, on this evening of shame, like every other, I came to the theater with hope. Please, Lord, don't let this be a help Hitler escape night. And I was especially anxious because I had been home sick. It's mid-January, freezing, damp, snow on the ground, and everyone is a walking petri dish. Typhoid Mary sneezes over there. Her molecules make their way over here. And you can't avoid it unless you steer clear, which I did for a week. Now, this might sound weird to some of you who see maybe 5 shows a year, but for me, a weeknight at home instead of the Belasco and the Martin Beck, I was going through withdrawals. I would be in my bedroom checking my wrist for 8:06, the Jewish theater 8 o'clock. My fingers unwrapping invisible candies so as not to disturb my invisible neighbors. And I would open a magazine and search in vain for the title page and cast. I missed my homes away from home. So, on Friday, the end of my lousy week, I call a press agent to get me back to the theater. Ooh, press agents are people who promote shows and coordinate when critics come to see them. Hello, press agent, I trill. I'm back in town on Monday. Is there a show for me to review? There is, yes. Off-Broadway, fine, yeah. A new play, exciting, gets my attention. On a historical theme, not my thing. But on a Monday, you're limited. See, most shows run Tuesday through Sunday with Monday dark. God rested on the Sabbath, but the American theater prefers Monday. However, this off-Broadway show has a Monday night curtain. I'm in. I don't remember the title of this play, or the author, or the director, or the actors, or the year I saw it. It was the early 90s. I have narrowed it down to that. George Bush the Elder was in the White House. Johnny Carson was making his final run at The Tonight Show. Mariah Carey was on the radio. Well, not my radio. Germany was back to one country, but Czechoslovakia was now 2. O.J. Simpson was just a quarterback and an actor. I'll stick with quarterback. Kurt Cobain was still alive, and Audrey Hepburn was freshly dead, and I was somewhere in between. And the show I was seeing concerned a medieval king. I don't remember his name, or his country. Europe sounds like. And I'm guessing he was King Henry IV, not Shakespeare's Henry IV, a German dude who was king of the Holy Roman Empire. I am presuming this because the main conflict of the play was the king versus the Catholic Church. See, King Henry wanted to appoint his own bishops, but Pope Gregory VII said, "Oh, no, that's my job." Hot-headed Italian, named Gregory. Pissing match ensues with the fate of the Western world hanging in the balance. Not a bad premise for a play, and not a bad reason for me to go schlepping downtown to the West Village on a Monday evening. Now, If you are a drama critic, you go into a show thinking not, ooh, will I have a good time, but will this be worth my while? Will the creators earn my respectful attention? Usually, they do. And success in theater isn't $1 million. It's a critic, hopefully, going, you got something there. Keep at it. That is why critics, the best ones, will meet every show more than halfway. The rising of a curtain is like scratching a lotto ticket. Better, because we know lotto is going to shtup us. However, critics are also human, most of us, and we are beleaguered by the same crises as the people we're watching. Oh, the train was late and the boiler broke. You're functioning on 4 hours of sleep. You wish your day job didn't suck, and your ex-wife did. You wonder how some people blink and make millions, and you have to put a root canal on layaway. Oh, and don't get me started on the Middle East. And for 2 hours, we drape a net over this mosquito pond of life and beg those good-looking people up on stage to take us away. So, half a dozen times a week, I would review while holding down a full-time job, commuting from Long Island, and trying to be a creative writer myself. You do these things when you're young. You have that energy. The payback? Free tickets to Broadway, to write about legends I studied at NYU, to have readers value my insights into these potential works of art. What a responsibility. I can make my small contribution to the ongoing legacy of the American theater. You really believe that crap when you're young. And, well,
they say
that critics are eunuchs at an orgy. Well, you can't do, so you review. You can't conceive, so you abort. No. I write what I feel. If you go to a fancy steakhouse and they toss you a sirloin that Taco Bell wouldn't touch, I ask you, well, how was it? Do you say, well, I'm not a chef, who am I to judge? No, you go blech. Critics are experienced blechers. And sometimes yayers. Nick Hornby called us professional appreciators. I like that. It's not that we're better or that we get it right. It's that we care enough to try. 10 commandments of a critic. Be on time, be prepared, pay attention, be honest, be fair, be specific, be open, be exacting, be at your best, and be ready for anything. Anything. It's Monday afternoon. I am staring out the window at work. To call the weather depressing would be like saying Van Gogh had a hearing problem. Dark, dank, dreary day fading into the chill of night. I grab my hat and my gloves, zip my winter coat with the fur hood, because theater is worth prolonging my cold, but not pneumonia. I step outside, where the weather feels even blechier than it looked from the window. Happily, I am wearing layers. Now, I never understood layers. Why is a coat over a sweater warmer than just a better coat? But I listen to the experts, and I wear jacket, pullover sweater, shirt, thermal undershirt, regular undershirt. Any chill whipping off the Hudson is going to have a hell of a time getting to my skin. For not only am I wearing thermal underwear to protect my lung region, but under my pants, notice how I pause for effect here, under my pants, I am wearing portable space heater. They're like hiring a bouncer for your limbs. Frigid breeze? Nope, not on the list. Hot air blasting from a subway grate? Ooh, come on in. You're a VIP. Welcome inside pants. Long John, now laugh at all, huh? Okay. Long Johns are the best invention for warmth since warmth. They're cotton, so they breathe. They look silly, but who sees? And let me tell you, chunky women wear Spanx to appear slimmer. Men don't have that option. A tight pair of long johns takes 10 pounds off your Buddha belly and gives you a shapelier ass. This is not the miracle of long johns, by the way. The miracle comes later. I am off the subway and walking around downtown. My merriest ritual, finding somewhere to eat before the show. It's about 5:30, plenty of time to grab a bite, hit the theater, and ponder the divinity of kings. So I walk. And sometimes I'm so undecided, I can walk for an hour. French, too expensive. Mexican, not in the mood. Never in the mood. Japanese, no fish right after a cold. Pizza, too quick. This place, too crowded. That place, too hip. And on it goes. By the time I decide, all I have time for is pizza. Well, my reviews may be brilliant, but basically I'm an idiot. However, on this night, with my nose running and my boots clomping through slush, I am in no mood for a pilgrimage. First restaurant I spot, I enter. Italian. Good food. Good service. Too good. Are you all familiar with Murphy's Law? If something can go wrong, it will go wrong. Murphy says that the universe exists to laugh at us, to tantalize us with the best of all possible menus, and then crush us in the garlic press of reality. I finish my meal, pay the check, thank the waitress, reclothe, reach the door, check my watch, and it's not even 7 o'clock. What to do for an hour? I can't return to the table, that'd just be weird. I have to go back out, in the cold, in the wind, in the mush, just what I did not want to do on my first night back from medical exile. Like a rat, I scurry across the block, where I find another bistro with dessert. Now, it does not take much for a Jewish man to think of dessert. Go inside his brain, and under the naked women and the money troubles and the score to Fiddler on the Roof, you will find a giant slice of Sara Lee. Dessert is like reclining on Passover. It's the sign of a free man. A free man with clogged arteries, but nevertheless. Dessert calls to me from behind the misted window. And like Molly Bloom at the end of Ulysses, I answer yes. I said, yes, I will, yes! I enter the osteria. Recapping the synopsis so far, man gets over a cold, puts on thermal underwear, goes to a restaurant, goes to another restaurant. Edge of your seat thrills. Well, these micro details are important. If I had not gone to that first restaurant, I would not have gone to the second. If I had not gone to that restaurant, I would not have ordered coffee and tiramisu. Decent coffee, middling tiramisu. I should have gone with the chocolate lava cake. But 40 minutes have ticked their way by, leaving me 10 to get to the theater and 10 more to settle in. Picking up press tickets for Lefkowitz, David. I have said that line more times than I've ever said I love you. Picking up press tickets for Lefkowitz, David. I say it quietly, conspiratorially, because for all I know, the folks behind me have paid mucho bucks to get in, only I get better seats. So, sotto voce, press tickets. But still loud enough for them to hear because it makes me feel important. Well, it's like those folks who pay extra to board a plane early. Whoa, we get to sit longer! And yet, I also understand. It's like, make way, critic coming through. You're all here just to enjoy the show. I'm here to capture it forever. In my heart, I know critics are mere appendages. Shows would go on with or without us, but there'd be a hollowness without the call and response, without us, without me. You really believe that crap when you care. And receiving those tickets in your hand, it's the Rialto equivalent of Christmas. Walking through the lobby into the house is like running to the tree a minute after midnight. Or opening the program is like tearing at wrapping paper. Oh, what's in the box? Oh, is it an iPad? Is it a puppy? Or is it a dead puppy killed by Hitler? Either way, whether you are sauntering down the aisle of the Luntfontanne or sprawling on a converted storefront cushion, it's happy birthday Jesus when the lights go down. And this night was no different, although I wish I could remember and share more. Research is a dead end because the theater that housed my compromised carcass on that bitter January eve no longer exists, lending perhaps a layer of myth to my odyssey. Wow. Theater is by design ephemeral. Shows open, shows close. Nature of the beast. It's heavier when a theater building closes. That was a museum of memory, a warehouse of stories, ghosts, gunshots and whispers, boos and bows, mistakes and magic. As they say, if these walls could talk. But if the walls are knocked down and the curtains sold off and the costumes donated and the marquee dismantled, what's left? Where did that whole civilization go? Here. This is my one story in one theater. I carry it, and I carry it on. Perhaps it's no coincidence then that the name of that playhouse was the One Dream Theater. It was on West Broadway, 3 blocks from Canal Street, and it had this weird layout. Weird, even by Greenwich Village standards. Through the front door, you would squeeze into this narrow lobby, perfect for socializing, if you're Karen Carpenter and the Olsen twins. But for the rest of us, you had to slide in sideways. First, the box office, which is kind of like a bank teller's window and just as forbidding. Oh, please, sir, may I have my ducats? Here's my Drama Desk membership card and my blood sample. Oh, thank you, sir. God bless you. The narrow lobby leads only to a staircase, so I ascend. Find my place, which is towards the back. Remove my winter outerwear and place it lovingly on the empty seat next to mine. One more perk of being a critic. Most of the time, you get 2 tickets. See, theater is a social phenomenon, and producers want you to bring another person. Because if the critic hates the show, but the companion doesn't, That's opportunity for debate, or maybe even a disclaimer. Well, I despised it, but my girlfriend loved it. So, go and make up your own mind. To a producer, that is miles better than, if this play were a horse, I would take it out back and shoot it. I admit, I have felt like that sometimes. Even worse is when my +1 is appalled, and I'm the guy going, it's not so bad. Oh, I once had an argument with a critic friend of mine who said that if a play was awful enough, he would leave at intermission. I was flabbergasted. I was scandalized. I was young. I tell my critic friend, you're breaking your side of the bargain. You are paid minimally to be there and share. Imagine if every office worker having a bad day went home at lunchtime. It would be a much happier world. Still, I tell my critic friend, maybe everything comes together in the second act. Maybe there's genius in the last 10 minutes. And you'll never know, because you weren't there. Hey, Frank Rich goes to see this big musical, 42nd Street. It's his first major assignment as head critic of the New York Times. Well, Frank Rich loves 42nd Street, every dancing foot. He stays through the curtain calls. He stays through the opening night speeches. But suppose Frank Rich hated 42nd Street and slipped out early. What would he have missed? Heck, nothing. Well, except the producer, David Merrick, the abominable showman, skulking to the stage, telling the throng, glad you love the show. We're so proud of it. Oh, and by the way, our choreographer, Gower Champion, died this morning. No, wait, that isn't a joke, he's dead! All the air sucked out of the room, party turned funeral. Now, Frank Rich could have read about that in the next morning's obituary column. Instead, he wrote about it and made his career. Important lesson. Stick around. You never know who might die. I tell my critic friend, you don't owe the actors, or the designers, the director, a good review or a pat on the back. You owe them your truth and the courtesy of your presence. What a self-righteous little prick I was. And to his credit, my critic friend did not choke me. Instead, he said, Dave, you see enough of these things, and you know. Out of a zillion flops, maybe one alchemizes to gold in the last third. For the rest, life's too short. You drive past a car crash, you slow down. You don't get out and look for teeth. Well, his words were so cynical, and so disappointing, and so true, that soon thereafter I started skipping lousy shows at intermission. Even not so lousy shows, just time wasters. After all, if I can make the 10:06 to Gibson, I'm home by 11:15. Miss it, and I walk in at 1. So, later, I changed my tune. But back then, I sang the song of endurance. Ladies and gentlemen, I sat through shows. I sat through comedies that could only aspire to be moose murders. I sat through tragedies that were actual tragedies. I sat through musicals where a ringing cell phone was the best song of the night. I sat through a family drama where the entire first act was a woman making gazpacho. And yet, Somehow, Act 2 ended with a father accused of being a child molester, pulling down his pants and screaming, "I'm clean! Look at my penis, Mommy, I'm clean!" I did not look at his penis, and I certainly did not feel clean. I sat through a one-act melodrama about obsessive-compulsive disorder, which was demonstrated by the many times the lead character would walk to her kitchen and count the burners on her sink. 1, 2, 3, 4 burners, 1, 2, 3, 4 burners, 1, 2, 3, 4 burners, 1, 2, 3, 4 burners. Again, this woman, go to the sink, and 1, 2, 3, 4 burners, 1, 2, 3, 4 burners, 1, 2, 3, 4 burners, 1, 2, again. This woman, go to the kitchen and count 1, 2, 3, 4 burners, 1, 2, 3, 4 burners, 1, 2, oh, for a gun with 1, 2, 3, 4 bullets! I sat through Cats 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I also sat through a Broadway musical about gypsies. No, not Lauren Bacall, Ethel Merman backstage gypsies. No, authentic gypsies and their authentic gypsy music. Turns out, authentic gypsy singing is loud, impassioned, and just a half-pitch off key. Now we know. I sat through. I lost girlfriends because of shows. We were at a musical about the homeless because the subject lends itself so well to jazz hands. When intermission finally arrived, she turned to me and said, "Well, we can leave now, right?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "To this day, I will not give a penny to the homeless." Oh. And at the office, I asked this adorable temp on a date to the theater, and she said yes. And she asked me what the show's about. So I tell her, "Oh, it's a bunch of one-act plays all about love and relationships." "Cool," she says. "Hey, what's it called?" Only then did I remember that the name of this play was Sex Attack. I went alone. I sat. Did I mention one about the belly dancer? The homely, obese, male belly dancer? And speaking of gay, I sat through a one-man show about a homosexual because all modern theater must be about homosexuals. But this one had a guy sitting on a toilet while imitating Barbara Streisand. People who need people are the luckiest. And he would never actually finish the song. He would be interrupted by ringing phones or extraneous noises or wiping. People who need people are the luckiest. When the scene ended, the actor / playwright / torturer and his stage manager took their bows. Of the 10 people in the Martinson Theater, 3 clapped, 3 slept, 3 sat in stony silence, and 1 audience member actually had the temerity to boo. The actor and the stage manager stopped in mid-set change to peer into the crowd, their shock asking, "How could you?" My glare answering back, "How could you? Are the luckiest people." And yet, I stayed. The lights are dimming in the One Dream Theater. The play, remember the one about the king of the Catholic Church that I didn't tell you about? It's about to commence. I blow my nose, clear my throat, unvelcro my boots, Hey, I'm an eccentric with bunions. Deal with it. I tap my shirt pocket where I have prepared 2 naked cough drops, just in case my cold chooses to reassert itself during a quiet scene. As luck would have it, the house is half empty, so nobody sits directly nearby. Lebensraum! No head to peer over. No Chanel number 5. No feet to sidestep. No passive-aggressive elbow hockey. Just the play, which begins. There's a king doing kingly things. And his advisors are haranguing him about church interference. Within minutes, it becomes apparent that this play is gonna be pretty good. Yeah! The acting's okay, the story's intelligent, the script has juice. On a good night at the theater, you reach that all-important second when your mental traffic light turns from cautious yellow to go on green. I am into this play. And I couldn't be gladder that I ventured out after my week of incubation. I braved the elements. I chose an unknown play in an outlying theater and lucked into a show worth writing about. Good as it gets, folks. And if this play were to end right here, you would have a picture of a typical night, a quite marvelous typical night, in the life of a theater critic in New York. However, the play continues. We're 25 minutes in, and it's still good. And I'm still good, although a tiny bit off. Could be flu residue, could be tiramisu residue. Just a blip on my radar, and I have a feeling that I might want to take an aspirin on the train ride home. 5 more minutes pass. The priests are plotting, the king is kinging, and I'm tingling. My stomach churns a smidgen, and then it gurgles. As George Carlin taught us, this is called borborygmus. It's the sound of liquid and gas moving through your small intestine. Perfectly natural. And it makes a noise, a little something, like this. People! No, it's just a rumbling. That was a joke relating to that one. It's just a rumbling tummy, a baby burp, nothing I can't manage. Although now I'm keeping a casual eye on my watch because, hey, half an hour intermission. 29 minutes. 28. 27. Biology is amazing. We are given a harbinger, a foreshadowing that soon, not immediately, but in the near future, we're going to have to defecate. Now, we're given this warning so we can finish what we're doing, and then amble over to a secluded nook, divest, reach for a New Yorker from last July, and let the tootsies roll. Imagine if we had no advance notice. You're at the office, copying. You're running the treadmill. You're bicycling through Central Park. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. A second later, from biology, we move to psychology. Now, nutty as it sounds, there's an appealing sensuality to bowel and bladder control. But when you void, it's called what? Relieving yourself. Because in the release, there's relief. And a perverse pleasure in holding back. We all know the satisfaction of really having to pee. But first, straightening the desk, washing the coffee cup, sorting the mail, and then, finally, because it feels that much more incredible when the floodgates open. At the play, I hearken back to Psychology 101. Okay, just enjoy the build. Think how emancipated you'll feel when you hit the Johnny intermission, which is only 26 minutes, 25, 24, more than halfway through the first act. Piece of cake, piece of tiramisu, which is pushing further down my stomach and causing me to shift in my chair. I mentioned biology and psych. Let's not leave out religion. God is merciful because he gives us a grace period between the arrival and the departure. He also created a limbo state between solid and liquid. That would be gas. See, borborygmus is the instrument's tuning. Burping is the overture. At some point, hydrogen, methane, and sulfur lower themselves into your pit for a symphony. And on this night, I knew, at the very least, I would debut a tuba solo. Now, everyone here has broken wind in public. Perhaps tonight. But you tried to do it in secret, but then you heard the giggling or the gagging. So my goal was control. Hold it in, because flatulence confronts us with not one, but two sources of embarrassment. Yeah. They are odor, noise. Let's take a moment to consider which is worse, odor, noise. In a crowded elevator, show of hands, which is worse, odor, noise. Odor, noise. See, in an elevator, odor is worse. Odor empties an elevator. Odor puts you on their clothes. Let's try another. Okay. Odor, noise, show of hands. In a quiet restaurant at a romantic dinner. Which is worse? Odor, odor, noise. Oh, I thought it was a tough call. See, can really ruin the mood. But if your date is lifting a twist of pasta to her lips, and you cloud her spaghetti carbonara with the pungent fog of your anus, that becomes I think we should see other people moment. On the other hand, in a dimly lit theater, smell is untraceable. Look straight ahead. Appear engrossed in the drama. Don't let on. Maybe they'll blame the old woman with a Walgreens bag 4 seats down. And in your defense, her perfume is riper than anything about to come out of your butt. My butt is now filled with air, air that must emigrate. I tilt for what George Carlin called the one-cheek sneak. Quiet, dry, perfect. It doesn't even have But I'm alone, it's dark, and I feel so much better. I go back to watching the play with my mind off my behind. The king and the cardinals are really going at it. Oh, he's unhappy, they're unhappy. I'm ecstatic. I don't even mind when 2 minutes later, another fart rolls into place. Oh, hi, go join your older brother. Panic? Nah. I think of Dick Van Dyke. When I was a child, Dick Van Dyke did these commercials for fire safety. If you smell smoke, drop to the ground and roll. Roll, roll, roll your body. And remember, well, Point is, smoke rises while the fresh air stays lower down. It flashes through my mind that farts are a kind of smoke. They're not, but I pray they behave the same, rising. If they do, everyone below me is safe. I feel bad for the girl in the lighting booth. My farts are biblical now. They're being fruitful and multiplying. That is when I start doing the chair dance. No, not like at a bar mitzvah. This is to prevent a bar shitzvah. The chair dance is when you rock back and forth, side to side, one cheek up, one cheek down, forward. But you can even lift yourself off the seat and ride the jet stream. And then back down for more dancing. Always movement to prevent a movement. How long can I keep this up? As long as it takes. And besides, it's 10 to 9. The king looks like he needs a break, so intermission has to be imminent. Okay, you're all intelligent people. Well, most not, but most of us are intelligent people. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why wait for intermission? You're in a theater. You're dying. Why not get out of your chair and go, you moron? Absolutely, well, no, you have to call me a moron, but yes, true, except here's one more quirk of the One Dream Theater. I've held this information back until now for dramatic effect, and the fact that you weren't here for Act 1, but especially for dramatic effect. I mentioned that this charming playhouse had an exceedingly odd configuration. Remember the narrow lobby that you don't remember? The stairs to everything, the location of the restrooms. Oh, did I say restrooms? I meant restroom. This theater is a type had one bathroom. Was the bathroom downstairs by the box office? Nope. Was the bathroom upstairs behind the seats? Nope. The bathroom was on stage. Not front and center, off to the side. Out of view, but still inches from the action. We might wonder about an architect who would design an arts complex with the seats here, the stage here, and the shitbox here. Frank Lloyd wrong. Of course, the answer is that artists will build a theater wherever they can. And if it means having to work around the plumbing, so be it. After all, how many years has off-Broadway's Irish rep had to work around these giant columns in the middle of the room? Or how many rickety theaters in summertime turn off their air conditioners because they're too loud or they'll blow a fuse? If Republicans and Democrats compromised as much to run the country as artists do to put on a show, we would be in a golden age of compromise and bad wiring and bad plumbing. Speaking of bad plumbing, my farts are slowly subsiding. Why? To make room for brutal cramps. Cramps are when your muscles contract. Women get them because Eve listened to a snake. Men get them from running or swimming or trying not to explode. Oh, God! I'm sorry about stealing chestnuts when I was a kid. And the way I treated girlfriends. Not what I said to telemarketers. To this day, it amazes me the progression of that evening. At 8:15, I was just a Jew watching a show. In the time it takes to play a game of checkers, I had become a writhing agony octopus. And meanwhile, on stage, more royal intrigue, because the king needs more fucking problems. Hey, King Henry, hey, over here. Yeah, no, I know you're busy, but I'm in hell, okay? I have a devil in my duodenum. I have Beelzebub. So if you could perhaps maybe, and I don't blame him. They could bring Zero Mostel back from the dead to play Tevye, and Fanny Brice as Golda, and Howlin' Wolf as Laser Wolf, and as Tevye's daughters, all the hottest Hollywood actresses naked, and the entire population of Russia in full period dress as extras. Not interested, because now I'm pale, I'm clammy, and I am getting the shit sweats. That is when you start sweating from your hair, because something has to come out of you somewhere. What I'm about to tell you now, ladies and gentlemen, is the honest to God's truth. My whole story is true, with minor embellishments for storytelling oomph. But this next part is so preposterous, so billion-to-one implausible, you're gonna say, oh, he blew it. Well, he had a cute show there. A little disgusting, but we've all been there. I once pooped myself by the frozen vegetables in Segway. But now, he's reaching. I tell you one more time. This is the most ridiculous, you've got to be kidding me phase of my story, and I would not insult you by inventing it. In the next scene of the play, out comes the king wrapped in a sheet, and other white sheets are scattered across the stage. Oh, no, they're not all white, because in the scene, which was based on historical fact, His Highness is brought low. Just as he's clobbering the clerics, King Henry catches an intestinal virus. Let's watch him suffer. He's groaning, screeching, wrestling. He's pantomiming uncontrollable diarrhea. Watching this, I realize my evening has moved past wretched into the surreal. I'm sitting there, shaking like a monkey, trying not to poo my pants. And there's an actor fouling himself in front of me over and over and over again. I have stepped through the looking glass. On one side, on the other side, dueling dysentery. And the scene goes on for decades. Quickly, I realized two things. First, whatever happens, whether I hemorrhage or survive to intermission, I will tell this story in some form for the rest of my life. Second thing I realize is, I'm not going to make it to intermission. Because when you combine the power of suggestion with the power of indigestion, you get combustion. Or the French Revolution. Aristocrats being led to the scaffold. They're crying, bargaining, feigning bravery, with each step planning an escape until they concede. All hope is lost. It's Gary Gilmore telling the warden, let's do it. It's Jesus telling God, I'm done, take my spirit. And hey, thanks for everything. It's me dropping my defenses and my load. something zen about it. The universe wants my feces. Namaste. Take it all. In for a penny, in for a mound. Or, to paraphrase Buddha, shit happens. And when it does, you feel like a bird. You are a bird. Unfortunately, you're a buzzard perched on your own filth. How much is there? Could be a baby Ruth. Feels like Golden Corral's chocolate fountain. But at least the crisis has passed. Oh, there's more pie in the oven, but I can keep it warm. So, I sit back and what? No, I sit forward and watch the dwindling minutes of Act 1. The king and his lousy day. Curtain. When the lights come up, time is of the essence. Because there's only one toilet and a whole lot of me. Plus, there's other people closer to the John, so I've got a dash. But if I start running, I'll start running. So, clutching my pants to my side, I glide. Oh, don't jostle. Bounce. Oh, I zigzag through patrons. I see a woman ahead of me and through sheer force of will, halt her. I apologize now for my rudeness then, but no one is storming that bathroom before General Custard. I nearly tear the door off the hinges. Heaven. I turn, and the bathroom is small, white, and cementy. A bowl, a sink, a stack of folded paper napkins, a white rubber basket. A palace. With 8 minutes to go in intermission, I kick off my boots, unbutton my shirt, and roll it neatly into a corner. Unbuckle, unzip, my pants drop to the floor. Like a tightrope walker, I can't look down, but I must. I expect to see heaping gobs of tragic down the back of my slacks. But no, not a trace. My pants are as clean and pristine as the day I bought them off the sale rack at Loman's. Where's my diarrhea? I made it. It didn't go back in. If an elephant stepped on the bulb of a turkey baster, he could not propel the gravy faster than Hershey's left my highway. So, where? Slowly, I roll down my thermals. And voila, Golden Corral. But oh, blessed Long Johns, who protected me from the cold, who made me feel all slim and male modeling, who collected all my dung. You performed a miracle that night. You saved my pants. Not my underpants, those were called to Jesus, but my pants. Pants I could wear home. Pants I could wear again. Pants that were saved. Alas, it grieves me to say that my long johns were not. In fact, they were so filled with oobleck they went splat when they hit the cement. As did my briefs, which I now realize are called fruit of the loons because they can hold an orchard of dingleberries. Well, the next 5 minutes you can imagine. But I'll tell you anyway. After After surveying the earthquake damage, I straddle the bowl for aftershocks. There ought to be a question on the SATs. If you eat one slice of tiramisu and you wait 2 hours, how many tons of horror will emerge from your colon? But, oh, when it ends, when the cool of the splash soothes your bloodshot brown eye, when your gut and your butt are one again. Oh, the nightmare isn't over. I'm in a public toilet drenched in dreck. Celebration would be premature. So, I reach for the toilet paper, reams of it, gently moisten under the sink, and begin. Oh, I do not sing People Who Need People. Another reference to Act 1. I do work methodically. Left hip, right hip, outer buttock, outer right buttock, main left buttock, main left buttock, main right buttock, asshole, 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 under left leg, under right leg, asshole, and further reconnaissance where needed. I consume half a roll of toilet paper before it even occurs to me, oh, you know, I should really do a courtesy flush. So, being the good neighbor that I am, I flush. And nothing happens. I push the lever again. And again. I wrestle with it. I jiggle it. I call it anti-Semitic names, but no use. Faced with an enemy of superior force and devastating chemical weaponry, the One Dream Theater toilet surrendered and died. A casualty of World War goo. I sit on the battlefield, almost laughing, but mostly digging for spoils of war. Only now I have to use my free hand to push down the Everest of Charmin until I can't. So I lean and drag the basket to hold more tissues. Because God hates me. Only he doesn't forsake me, because eventually the tissues go from dark brown to light brown to mustardy beige to sepia wisps to gorgeous eggshell white. There is light at the end of my tunnel. The king again of my castle and my body, though with my kingdom revolting, I abdicate my throne. To my right, my long johns in a mushy heap. Before me, my underpants, never to be under any pants ever again. And off to the side, my shirt, slacks, and boots, mercifully spared my ungodly shyscapades. Tentatively, I make my way around the room, careful not to step in what I have just lived in. With 2 fingers, I lift my sodden long johns and fling them towards the basket. Unfortunately, my zealous aim overshoots the basket, but I make a bullseye on the wall, and the baseboard, and the sink, and the side of the toilet. For my penance, I now have to retrieve my long johns. Now, had I been in my right mind, I would have brought the basket to them. And then, more carefully, my briefs. To be helpful, I wet some paper napkins and tried cleaning the mess on the floor. But it's one of those cement floors where the more you rub, the worse it gets. You're just grinding the feculence into the grooves. So what starts the size of a basketball expands into a hula hoop. And by the time I give up, brown towels cover the basket and everywhere. Well, I say to myself, my work here is done. I put on my shirt, my pants, which feel oddly loose without undies, zip the fly with much caution, buckle, and reboot. I stare at the door, preparing to rejoin the planet. I can't help myself. Like Lot's wife, I have to see. I look. Leaking mounds of tissues billowing from the bowl. A basket no longer white, now holding garments only hazmat should handle. Brown speckles along the walls, circular smears on the floor, and atop the garbage, a single denuded roll of toilet paper, nestled like a cherry on a sundae, concocted from the worst imaginable hot fudge. You know, people ask, how did the Egyptians build the pyramids? How did NASA reach the moon? I say, if one man can do this to a shitter, anything is possible. Bidding farewell to Anatevka, I turn and I open the, oh, I did wash my hands. I read a draft of this play to my writers group and neglected to mention that, and they all moved to the other side of the table. So I assure you, I completed my ablutions using the last speck of unsoiled paper in the building. And then I opened the door. Standing there is the woman I halted. She sees me and halts again. Was it my slack jaw, my zombie pallor, my ragdoll motions, or the stench? I don't ask. But you'll be proud of me. Rather than slink back to my seat, I muster the courage to approach the house manager. I can't look her in the eyes. I can't look her in the ear. Somehow I get the words out. I think your toilet's not working. Confident that I have done my duty, no pun intended, I turn and make the long, lonely trek back up the aisle. My coat, knapsack, program, all as it was 540 seconds ago. I sit, feeling the slippery chill of my pants against my bare bottom. I want to bury myself in the cast bios, seeing no one, responding to nothing. But a minute later, I hear the squeak, the unmistakable sound of wheels and a bucket. And there's the house manager, yellow gloves to her elbows, pushing a mop and pail towards my degradation. She looks depressed. It's the look of a woman who chose liberal arts over medicine. A shared studio on Avenue C over a husband in Dobbs Ferry. And the theater over a life with no glamour. Oh. She glances up at the audience and those eyes. There the eyes Smokey the Bear gives a brazen camper who discards a match. There the eyes Tevye trains on God when his daughter's beautiful wedding becomes a pogrom. There the eyes a woman in labor gives her husband when she cries, "You did this to me!" I hear murmuring in the audience. I pay no attention. I am ready for the rest of the play. Are you shocked that I stayed? I think we've all moved beyond shock at this point, but yes, I persevered. I had a story to write. I had my code of honor. I had pants. Do I remember Act 2? Not a word. Well, the king recovers. They all live uncertainly ever after. Good play. Somewhere in the top 200 of the 599. I gather my remains and evaporate down the stairs, depriving myself of that sweet fellowship after a winner, passing your comrade with a smile that says, "Yes, I too am pleasantly surprised. We have good taste." But I share no smile tonight. Fleeing to the village, I erase my evening with each step, although I swear I can hear the One Dream Theater behind me shrieking with despair. I make it to Penn Station, scattered but scatless, and find a seat by myself on the 10:06 to Gibson. A discarded Daily News distracts me from my recent past and my residual rectal itch. Before I know it, I'm walking home from Gibson on legs trembling from the cold. Why didn't I wear thermals? Oh, right. By midnight, I am showered, laundered, and snuggled under my blanket where no big bad virus can touch me. I did not go to the theater the next night, nor the night after that, but by the weekend, back to my routine as historical scribe and optimistic disciple. Did I write a review of that King play? Yeah. And I told everything from soup to butts, from tiramisu to chocolate lava cake. And I would give anything to find a copy of that review. I know I mailed a copy to the press agent because she called me to say that she had a list of critics she only wished that would happen to. Somewhere in my piles of files, there's a 5 1/4-inch floppy disk with that review on it. All I have to do is unearth it, and then find a working computer built before 1991. And then I'll cure cancer. Or, more likely, I'll be watching a play about someone curing cancer. I live in Colorado now, and I see much less theater than I used to. And I don't miss it the way I thought I would. Maybe I burned out. Maybe I got tired of judging, and now it's my turn to be judged. So, I leave you tonight after sharing my miracle with a benediction. I hope you make your trains, endure your crises, delight in your stories. Wear long johns in the winter, and sniff your tiramisu before you eat it. And when you open that endangered species called a newspaper, or conjure one on your phone, and you read a theater review, spare a little love for the poor sap who wrote it. Don't say, oh, why is he so mean? Why is she so picky? If they hate the theater that much, why do they even go? We go because we have devoted our lives to an art form that costs us dearly, but rewards us immeasurably. My wish for you, my one dream for all of us is that the next time we're in a darkened room, facing a stage, and a myriad of possibilities. Number 600. Good night.
Fantastic.
Wow, thank you.
Oh, I feel blessed.
Oh my God.
I do.
Well, there was a miracle. Yeah.
I tell you, that was just fantastic.
Wow. Wow.
I
Genuinely my favorite one-man show I've seen so far this year.
Yay!